All right, everybody, and welcome back. So we've got a great game now started. We've got a player, we've got coins, we've got the ability to collect different things. Um, we have started making some levels, and a collection of levels is going to be great, but it's not going to be a full game at the end unless because we generally don't want to just start diving right into the game. Generally want some kind of introduction to our game. Sometimes there's a story behind it, sometimes it's just a start screen to give credit to the author or something like that. So let's have a look at creating that title screen, if you will. For this, I'm going to make myself a new scene. And this can just be like your level. We're going to start it off with a 2D scene. I'm just going to call this start screen. There's not a lot here actually that we haven't done already. In case here's my start screen, I might want some kind of title. So I could add, say, a label like I did with my coin heads-up display. And over here, just write in some Mr. Laird's awesome platform game. Give it a title, give it something, a theme to your game. In this case, I've got this spooky font, so I'm gonna keep that theme going with my theme override. Drag the font over into that. Remember that this is all capitals, Mr. Laird's awesome platform game. There we go. Give a little space here. We can, put it in the center. I could change the font size here to something like 48. Make it a little bit bigger. Great. And, put that, say, in the middle of the screen. We kind of want to do a little graphic design. You could spend some time bringing some other sprites in and graphics. A quick hint for sprites to add to your scene is you don't have to add a node. You can actually just drag them right onto the screen there, and it will do that for you. Um, it'll make a player scene for you. I can make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to scale this guy up, and maybe I'd bring my zombie in as well. I think I have a zombie graphic here. And of course, you want to spend a bit of time finding some other graphics, but it's great to use the graphics from your game as well. So, and if I scale that up like so, maybe I'll get him facing. I'll make it -3. Oops, not in the Y direction. Unlink that. That one's 3. There we go. So now I got the zombies facing each other. We could even add some other things like I'm going to add a color rectangle. So this is a little background color for me. There's a lot of things in that we can do. That also brings up another issue here. I'm going to go for, I got some zombies, so I'm going to do a little bit of an orange background color. This is just something that we can make colors with. But you can see that when I add this color rectangle, it actually covers all of the stuff below it, unfortunately. And that's because what happens is the order of nodes actually is important. It's the order that they are executed, but it's also the order that they're drawn on the screen. So the first thing drawn is that label, then the player, then the zombie, then the color rectangle, which means because it's so big, it covers over everything else. I can change the order of these things just by moving your nodes around. Be careful about dropping on top of another node. But if you get in between two nodes, you can see there's a little line there. So I'm going to put the color rectangle as the first thing here. And you can now see that based on the order, the colors in the background and everything else covers over it, making it look a lot better. And if I save my scene here as my start screen, we can run this game. Now, in the past, we've always hit this run current scene, and it runs the scene that I'm on at the moment. But when I'm running my actual game, I always want my start screen to be first, and I don't want to have the users pick out the scene that they want. So we can use over here this run the project. This is going to play the project in the order that we want the game screens to be played. The first time I hit it, it'll say there is no main scene ever been defined. You want to select one. And yeah, I want to select the scene that is going to be the first thing that a player encounters, which in this case is going to be my start screen. I can either select current or I can go pick a scene that I want. In this case, it's the start screen. And as it mentions here, you can actually, you can actually change this in project settings. If you go up to the project settings under the run section here, there's a main scene. You can see it's blank. I can also pick the project here. So if you ever make a mistake or you decide you want to change your main scene, you can certainly do that right there. Now, if I hit play, it will automatically bring me to Mr. Laird's awesome platform game. And I'm ready to go. However, I can't actually play my game. Now I'm stuck on this scene. So in general, there's one more thing we want to add to our game, and that's usually some kind of start button or something. I may also want to have an instructions screen here or a custom control screen, things like that could be added here. So there's one additional thing I'm going to add, which is I'm going to add a new node, and this is a button node, and it's a built-in control node, so it's one of the things that are made for main screens and titles and things like that. So I'm going to make a standard button, and I'm just going to call this start button. And you can see the button appears in the top corner here. Buttons are pretty simple things. They're very similar to labels, but they have some settings on them. So there is my button. You can set your text for your button right here. I'll put that start. Notice, just like everything else, we can override the theme and we could put a font rather than using that boring beginning one here. I can do a font. Oh, again, capital START. Maybe change the font size up a little bit there as well. Ooh, not that big. There we go. So I've got this great big start button here. And it is a button. There's a couple settings on button. You can put an icon on the button if you want. It'll pop it in with the button. You can also make it flat, which basically you lose that kind of background color. This is great if you just want to have the words or an icon or something as a button. Be careful though, because some people might not figure out that that is actually something different. And if I play my game now, oh, I can hit the main play button. You'll see that this button does add some functionality to it. As you move my mouse over top, it changes color. If I click, it changes color again. It is quite clearly a button, but at the moment it doesn't do anything. So I need to say, what do I want to have happen when I click that button? And buttons, fortunately, come with a couple signals attached to them, pre-built. So we have a button down when the button's been clicked, when the button's released, the button's up. When I pressed it, that's the full act of clicking it. And toggled if there's a toggle button that you could turn on and off. In this case, I just want to know when I've clicked the button, so I am going to make a signal that is going to move me to the next level. However, for that, I'm going to need a script. I can put it on the main screen here. Yeah, let's add it to the main screen. So I'm going to make a start screen script and then take that button and send the signal to that script, just like I've done before with many other times. And in this case now, I can just change levels, much like I changed levels with the goals. Get tree dot change scene to file, and I want to go to my level 1. And there we go. With that, you've now created a button on your scene. As I said, you could have multiple buttons that would send you to multiple screens, and you could almost create a web page like hyperlinks between different screens or parts of your game if you wanted a little bit more of a story introduction, or as I said, a a stats screen. Maybe you didn't want to crowd up your screen here with player controls and things like that. You could go check out your controls, come back here, and when we start the screen, our game begins. And there you go. Now you've got the ability to create start screens. You can create some game over screens, death screens, any other screens that you like, and be able to link them together with buttons.